Welcome to Intuit Field Service Management, the simple and powerful way to get more work done, get paid faster, and do payroll better. Field Service Management is an online solution that you can access anytime, any place from your computer browser, and your technicians access from a mobile application. Think of service management as a front-end tool designed for your service team that talks to the QuickBooks in the accounting department. If your business installs, services, or repairs customer equipment, I think you're going to love Field Service Management. Let's take a look at how Field Service Management can work for you in a brief day in the life of a service team. We'll look at what your service manager does, then what the technicians do out in the field, and lastly, we'll show you what it looks like when the invoice comes into QuickBooks. I'm logged into apps.com as Mike the manager. I'm starting at the work order list view. Much of the time, you'll launch the dispatch board like this, which gives you a bird's eye view of everything that's going on. I'm going to go full screen here, all at once with a schedule view, a list view, and a map view. Often, our customers run the dispatch board on a large monitor on the wall so others can see it. The dispatch board updates automatically and has a simple drag and drop interface. I'm going to take this appointment for later in the day and assign it to Bill. It's as simple as that. When a call comes in, it's simple to create, schedule, and dispatch a new work order while the customer's on the phone. We're going to click on the new work order wizard, and it launches a simple three-step process. In the first step, we can search for our customers by name, contact, site, phone number, and address. The customer list you see here is synchronized with the customer list in QuickBooks. Let's take a look at a customer with cafe as part of their name. We can see here there are several customers that have cafe as part of their name, and we're going to choose Absolute Alaska Cafe for our demonstration here. Now, they have more than one location in QuickBooks, so Service Management is going to ask me to select which job site we'll be visiting today. Let's just say it's Congress Street. So we've chosen Congress Street. We're going to click Next, and that takes us to the second step of our work order wizard, and this is where you identify what the customer needs. Typically, you've got some services that might be related to common problems. Maybe they're asking us to come out and change an air filter, or maybe it's just too hot out there. We can also capture a few additional notes such as the air is moving, but it's not chilled. You get to set up the services and the categories for your industry. I want to point out that down below we have the entire site service history, so we can see the other times that we've been out to this location. I also have my equipment list for that particular location and the service history on each specific piece of equipment at the click of my mouse. I click the next button, and that takes us to the third step, which is our smart scheduling screen. This screen helps you pick the right tech for the work order. The customer can ask for the next available appointment or something in the future. Let's go ahead and schedule this work order for today. You can see who has the skills and what their work availability is. Often it's helpful to see which technician is going to be in the area, and the map helps you do that. It brings up a Google map, and it puts a colored pin on the job sites indicating their status. I've got my current work order here, and I've got a service technician named Chuck over here. I think I'm going to give this work order to Chuck. So I drag and drop the work order to Chuck, and I can even give him an appointment window for this work order. You can assign secondary technicians as well, such as helpers and subcontractors. We have a final confirmation screen, and you're finished. It's that easy. It updated my dispatch board, and I've got a yellow work order next to Chuck's name, and it's yellow because it's waiting for the technician to pick it up. At this point, I can print out that work order, or the technician can access it through a Field Service Management application on the smartphone or on the tablet device. Show you what the technician sees in the field when he logs into the Field Service Management app on his smart device. We've got the dispatch board in the background, and I've got my service technician's smartphone simulator in the foreground. Obviously, if it's a phone, it's going to go vertical. Tablet, you might run it landscape mode. I'm going to click on the field service management application, and I'm logged in as a technician named Chuck. I'm going to click on my appointments, and I can see I've got 2 appointments. And this new Absolute Alaska Cafe is the one that I just assigned to him. I'm going to tap on that work order, and I can see the details about that work order. The service management application works on all Apple devices and all Android devices, and it's available for any cell phone carrier. You can read more about field service management and the smartphone applications at www.fieldservicesuccess.com. So let's head out into the field and take a look at what Chuck sees. So again, when he taps on that work order number, he sees the details about that work order, and probably the first thing Chuck's going to do is update the status of the work order, mark it picked up so he's taken responsibility. Now, because we're in a little demonstration here, I'm going to refresh the dispatch board because, again, it refreshes automatically every 5 minutes. And the work orders turn blue when your technicians have taken responsibility for them. At some point in time, Chuck says, "No kidding, I'm driving," or "I'm actually doing the work." Just taps on the screen to update the status. It's that easy. When your technicians are doing work, the dispatch board shows green, and you know you're making money. We've made the mobile application as simple and clean as possible for your techs to use out in the field so they can focus on repairing and maintenance and installation work. Now, while the technician is out in the field, by the way, if he clicks on the service address, it pivots over to the mapping software on the phone and tells him how to get from where he is to where he needs to go. But while he's out in the field, if he clicks on the site link right here, he can see the work order history. This is a complete listing of all the work orders that the service team has done at this customer's location. I can bring up one of these work orders at random. We can see that we were out there on April 16th, and your technician can access notes that may have been taken by other technicians out there in the field as well, such as photographs. We can see our technician took a photograph of a coffee mug. All right, so the technicians have all the information they need out in the field to get the job done right. Now, at some point in time, your service technician is going to say, "Hey, I am finished with this work order." We're going to mark the work order completed. It's going to ask us to type up a few notes. This is the same thing you would have written on the clipboard. So let's just say resolved AC issue by adding Freon and also replaced the air filter. All right, so as much or as little information as you need. We're going to also capture which piece of equipment got serviced. So again, field service management tracks all of your customers' equipment at each of the different sites and all of the attributes such as serial numbers, warranty dates for each of those pieces of equipment. So let's just say it's the red chiller that we're working on here, and we'll save those notes, and we're finished with that. So that's how you're going to get more work done with smart scheduling, real-time dispatching, and access anytime, any place to the information you need to get the job done right. Now we're going to show you how you get paid faster by creating invoices and taking payment in the field through our integration with QuickBooks Merchant Services. For example, I want to create an invoice for the charge for that Freon and that air filter. So Chuck's going to scroll down and click on Invoice Total, and click on Add New Line Item. Now he can find those services and parts within these buckets, or click on the All, and I can just type in, for example, Freon and hit Search. It's as simple as that. It's like doing a little Google search. Let's grab the R410A, and we'll update the quantity to 2, save that to the invoice. I need to charge for my air filter, right? So I can find it within one of those buckets, or just type in filter. Now, if I know exactly which filter it is, I can type in, 2W230, and it's going to find that particular air filter. But we're going to put the 30 by 36 on the invoice. Maybe you charge for labor separately. Maybe you don't. I'm just going to type in labor here and hit search. Maybe I need to charge for first hour labor charge, and I add that to my invoice. So Chuck has an invoice now. I want to take a signature here on that invoice. So I go to the menu, and I can get my customer's signature. Again, my business information, my customer's information, parts, services, and labor. I click accept, and we're going to get Bob's signature on the invoice. I get the ability to also take the payment out in the field. Click on menu, choose pay invoice, and And this is where we integrate with the QuickBooks Merchant Services. So I can take cash, check, or credit card. I'm going to take a check today. Get our check from Bob, and check number whatever, and the memo is AC Repair. Okay, I get an on-screen receipt. I can email that receipt to my customer and let them print it out themselves. Go back to my appointment list here so I can see my next appointment is at Burger King for later today. Back on the dispatch board, we can see the work order has turned gray because it's been completed. If we click on Chuck's name, it brings up the details for Chuck today, and we can also see the recent work order history. We can see where he's located. If we click on that work order that we just did here, we can see the details for that work order. We can see the status is completed. We spent 2 minutes working on it. We've got those signatures. Every work order has an action log, so it shows you when it got created, when it got picked up, when it got started, and when it got completed. So those timestamps are captured automatically, as well as who performed the action. You do not need to type those in at any time. So everything we've done so far is done anytime, any place, through either the browser or through the mobile application. What we're going to do now is we're going to switch gears and show you what's happening down the hall in accounting. Okay, so down the hall, my accounting department is using QuickBooks, and the QuickBooks administrator has a special function installed in the file drop-down menu called Intuit Field Service Integration, and all they need to do is click Synchronize. All right, so most of our customers run this once a day, maybe twice a day. Takes about 10 minutes in your world because you're going to have a lot more customers and a lot more invoices than what I'm about to synchronize, and it'll only take a few minutes during our demonstration here. Syncing the invoice and the payment data from Service Management into QuickBooks is super simple. So again, I'm just going to click the next button here to speed things along. By syncing from Service Management into QuickBooks, that big stack of invoices is coming directly into QuickBooks with the payments attached. One thing I want to point out here is that if you purchase QuickBooks Enterprise, there's an advanced inventory module. And with that module, you can set up separate inventory locations, one for your warehouse, one for each of your service technicians. When you synchronize invoices from Field Service Management into QuickBooks, Service Management integrates with the Advanced Inventory module to decrement inventory from the appropriate technician's truck, so you can run reports to see quantity on hand by site and monitor restocking points. And it finished. It's that easy. So I'm going to go to my Customer Center here. I can just go to my Customers and Jobs right here and see Absolute Alaska Cafe. I like to go from my Transactions tab, open up this new invoice right here from Absolute Alaska Cafe. When you bring up the invoice in QuickBooks, it's got the paid stamp because you got paid out in the field. The technician's notes appear at the top of the invoice. You've got parts and services and labor. If you have the Advanced Inventory module, it tells you which inventory location the inventory was decremented from. And you can see that on the print preview, it's using the same template you like to use when you print it out of your QuickBooks. Those invoices can come in as paid. They can also come in as what we call pending, so you can review them before they appear in your QuickBooks. So we've shown you how Intuit Field Service Management is going to help you get more work done and how you're going to get paid faster. We have an optional time card module that will streamline your payroll processing. Okay, we'll just show you that briefly here. Look at Chuck Chiller for last week. All of this data came over from the optional time card module. I didn't need to type it in right here. We also have an optional module called the Service Agreements module that schedules recurring work orders and preventive maintenance visits.